In this video, I'm not going to be going over a tutorial. I am not going to show off a cool AI system. Instead, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to talk about my own experience and a bad experience that I had. And this was a difficult but very important lesson. So this is a lesson that every business person should learn and follow, because if you don't, then it's going to cost you a lot of time and stress and maybe even money. So I want you to watch this video and learn this lesson so you don't make the same mistake that I did. And I'm also going to go over the situation that I was in and also expose the people that were involved. I do not believe in publicly shaming and defaming people. I've spoken with them in private and we haven't been able to come to an amicable agreement, and they have shown very poor, unprofessional, narcissistic behavior. And I want to show an example of that so you don't fall into the same trap. And also so you understand the troubles that you can face and the red flags. And also, I absolutely despise scammers, dishonest people, scumbags. And I want the world to know so they don't ever fool or hurt anyone again with their dishonest practices. There was a agency that wanted to outsource some work to me, and I was happy to take it on because I was capable of it. It was an interesting project. It was a great project, and I was keen. But the lie that they told me was that they didn't receive anything upfront and that they would be paid upon completion, and that they trusted them to just pay upfront when it's completed because they were a good friend. And that was, in hindsight, a huge red flag. So the first thing is, well, they didn't get paid upfront, and number two, they're a good friend. So that just lowers your defenses. And even if you trust your friend, well, he's your friend. Even if he is your friend, and even if you trust him, like, it's okay, like, that you trust him to pay upfront later, but you should be willing to pay your developers upfront to get started. But what they did was they just applied the same logic to me, expecting me to play along with their friendship. And so I did I spent a lot of hours on this project, but they just said the same thing. Yeah, he's a friend, will be paid upon completion. And you just have to make it so perfect that they will be paid upfront when the transfer is done. However, that never happened. So they just kept telling the same lies. And then we had some issues with the software. So a lot of the integrations were difficult, and the integrations, they required NDAs, and we had to contact the company. One was able to get back to us, but we had to get another software, but they never really entertained us. They never got back to us. So they just abandoned the project, and I just did long hours of work for nothing. So I just wasted all my time and money, and I was never paid anything. So that's exactly what happened. And my mistake was that I should have been paid something upfront and walked away when they said that I wouldn't be paid until completion, and when they said that it was just a friend, a close friend. So we've had some arguments, and I've told them that I do want to be paid regardless of what happened and because of the work that I put in. And yeah, they just simply refused. And we just kind of broke contact on a bitter note. So yeah, the project was basically abandoned. And later on, while I was checking my N8N library, I came across the old work that I did for them. And I felt proud in that moment that even though I wasn't paid, I built something this amazing. And I built something that was actually useful. And I was wondering about what happened to the client, because what I heard from this agency was that they just gave up on the project, that they just were happy with what they have. So, I took their word for it, and we just walked away, me empty-handed, just hours of time wasted, hours of effort wasted. I just got curious, and then I contacted them that I have a new system that can solve their problem that they can use and make good use of. So I contacted them, the client, directly. Until then, I had no direct contact with the client. It was all through that agency. So I spoke with them, and they were happy with what I had presented and offered them. They were happy to meet me, and when they saw the work that I had prepared, they were actually very happy. But the shocking thing was that the agency, they had lied to me. So the agency had been lying to me, telling me that they had not been paid and that they would be paid upon completion. But the reality was they were actually paid. They were paid $12,000. And so they took the money and they never delivered anything. and they didn't pay me anything. So they lied to me about the whole thing. And then I was pretty shocked. I told them that I built the whole thing. They had no involvement in fulfillment and development. All they did was just basically client management and deal sourcing. So that's literally all they did. And yet they were claiming that they built it when they had no involvement. I was basically lied to, and I received nothing. This really did anger me because not only did they receive nothing, but I was lied to and that I got nothing. But I did stay calm, and out of the blue, I messaged one of the guys at the agency and I just brought it up casually, like, so it's abandoned and just want to confirm if you never received anything. And he lied to me. He lied to my face saying that he did not receive any money from them. So that was it. I confirmed that they're a lying piece of shit, and I stayed in touch with the client. And then I saw that they were wanting to build something really good, and they've already did, which is amazing with the help of AI, with all these AI tools out there. And then they wanted me to help out with the more advanced development involved. So they already did the base of it, which is pretty amazing and shows just how amazing AI is, but you still need to know what you're doing at the end of the day to make it go from 80% to 100% perfect. Well, not 100, but like, yeah, 95% perfect. But yeah, anyways, I stepped in, and turns out this API key, which was acquired by the original agency, well, I can't reveal much because it's all bound by NDA. So I cannot reveal much about this, and I cannot build it for anyone else besides this client. So I won't talk about it too much, but simply put, this API key, that agency guy, he's the one that got it. He's the one that contacted this company and acquired it, and he was the only one that could expand it. So yeah, I tried to get in contact. I asked him why he lied to me and that the client is not happy that he never got anything and that I wasn't paid anything and that he needed this so he can finish it off. And once I would get it, I would, finish it off. But yeah, it was a pretty hostile confrontation. So yeah, I asked him why he lied to me about not being paid, and I told him that the client wasn't happy. But what's really shocking was that he didn't answer it. He just wanted to defend himself. He just wanted to say that the client is not unhappy and that they are on good terms and that I am lying. He didn't deny or admit that he received the money. So he's basically avoiding that. So he showed narcissistic tendencies and that he just basically wanted to defend himself and save face. So yeah, that's when I knew that this guy is an irredeemable narcissistic piece of shit and that we cannot resolve this privately. So that's why I decided to take this public. So I always wanted to share this lesson, and I wasn't going to talk about this too specifically, but seems like I have no choice because I really want to resolve this, but he refused to resolve it in an amicable way. So yeah, that's why I am making this video now. So now I'm going to expose these scammers for who they really are. And the reason I'm doing this is not because I am vengeful or I want to take revenge. I don't like shaming people in public, and I am against it, but because we could not resolve this in private, and because this is quite severe, and the fact that they showed no remorse for their actions, and showing just how sick, disgusting, and narcissistic they really are, I have to show this so you can see the red flags and see them for who they truly are. So this is to show what these kind of people look like and to prevent you from falling into another trap like this. So I don't want you to make the same mistake that I did and be able to spot these people. And of course, this is to show you that I am telling the truth and that I am not lying about this just for YouTube views or anything like that. I need you to understand that this was a hard video to record because I really didn't want to do this and I wish we could just settle it in private, but that didn't happen. So that's why I need to do this. And so hopefully this video gets them to realize that what they did was unethical and to make things right. Because I cannot stand the idea of scammers and unethical people taking advantage of people like this, lying to people, abusing them. And it's honestly disgusting. And I cannot just let things like this slide. So if something like this happens, I'm the kind of person that needs to do something and to prevent things like this from happening. So I already suffered it. I don't want anyone else to. So I'm going to show you everything now, and everything I have here. These are all screenshots. These are all legitimate, and I will censor some of them because I don't want the identity of the client or any specific details revealed in this video, but I am going to reveal their names. I am going to reveal all their social media channels, so you know who they are, you know who to stay away from, and to get their attention simply. So yes, I really do despise them and their actions, but they still have a chance to make it right. So anyways, enough of me talking, I'm going to get into it. So these are just all the screenshots taken about this case. So yeah, I'm going to open up the first one. We were talking through Discord. So this was around 2025 March. So you can see that this guy here, Angelo, got in contact with me to get this project going. So we met on a voice AI Discord channel. So it was just a friendly encounter. We had no issues together. And then, yeah, we're just planning it out. So it's all amicable. We're all civilized and there's no issue going on. And then, yeah, this was the first lie that he told. So you can see here, March 21st. And once we complete the chatbot and voice agent squad, we will get the payments. So the whole thing, basically. Yes, sir. Okay. So, yeah, he's acting all cool with all other clients. It's upfront. I thought like everything was going fine. Yeah, he said for this one, no, but for literally every other project we do upfront, just this one is a bit more unfamiliar region. So you can see already that he's lying to me, that he didn't get anything up front. And this client is also unique because we have a relationship with him. So you actually know him before. But this was a lie because the client said that they only spoke to each other like a few times and that they're no means close friends. But they're acting like they were close friends. So this was another lie. Yeah, I agree with him here. So upfront is mandatory. But he lied to me here. So do you know when we can be paid for an internal chatbot, just to check? So once we are done with the internal, we will get payment. So he's lying to me because this project, it was about creating an internal chatbot that they can use and then also an external voice agent that we can use to contact customers and for answering inbound calls. So there were basically two parts of it, internal and external AI agents. So here he's already contradicted himself. So let's go back here. Once we complete the chatbot and voice agent squad, we will get the payments. So this is the whole thing. And now he's lying and he's telling me that once the internal agent is done, we will be paid. So once it's deployed. And then, yeah, it looks all good. So I'm doing the project. So everything was going well. And then fast forward to June. So we were just waiting for one of the software to get back to us. At this point, basically, the entire project was done. We were just waiting for one software just to complete some integrations and hand over. We've already proven it and that now we'd be paid upon completion. I understand that, but we should be being paid something now because we're basically done. But now we're just waiting for this one software, which they didn't scope out correctly. So another mistake that they made is that they didn't scope out the project properly. They didn't know like what's involved in this. And that because of their failure, because of their negligence, I had to suffer. I had to spend a lot of time and effort just doing all this work only for this kind of trouble to come up and only for them to just keep lying to me about payment. He agrees that he should be paid. So he's lying to me, playing along with a lie. And now, fast forward, June 13th. So why are we still waiting for payment? You can see that I am getting impatient. And then he says, we have a contract in place. But the thing is, I talked with the client, there was no contract. So it's either he cannot find it or it was never made in the first place. And he says, no payment until delivery. And then I said, yeah, if we're not going to be paid until delivery, that's okay. But to agree to an amount, because they said, we're going to be paid upon completion, but they didn't even tell me an amount. They never agreed to an amount, he said. So this was initially supposed to be a smaller job, which was dragged on. So that's another negligence on his part. So he didn't scope it out properly. And then, I said, not agreeing on a price is not the way to do things. So agree on a price and get back to me ASAP. So I'm getting impatient and I want him to just make it work. But he refused. So he said, just to clarify again, we will set the price once the automation is fully finished and delivered. We're not agreeing on or communicating a price until it's done. We control the pricing based on the final product once it's completed and delivered. That's how we've structured this project from the start. But again, like I told you, this is a lie. So this was a red flag. And looking back, I was stupid. So I know that I'm not perfect and that I made a mistake as well. The fact that they didn't even agree to a price in the beginning was a red flag. And now that he's telling me that we're not agreeing to a price. which, it doesn't make sense. Even if you're a friend, you would agree on a price before you start something. But there's already two red flags. One is he's a friend, so we trust him. And number two is we'll be paid upon completion. And the third one is we didn't agree to a price. So if there's no price agreed to, then don't do it. And this was the red flag that I missed, and that's the one that I suffered as a result. And now let's go on to the next one. And then we are here. So this is another one later in June. So yeah, he wants me to complete the project now. And I was keen to finish it. And then fast forward to July after months of waiting for basically nothing. So yeah, I am keen to finish it off, but I'm impatient now. So I've had no transparency over the pricing, over what's going on, over the client. I've had nothing. So I wanted some payment basically. So I require payment now, and he refused. When I got impatient, he just paid me $500, just for me to shut up. And looking back is actually very offensive. It means that he only thinks the value of this work is only $500. And it shows that he knows very little about development. He knows very little about how much fucking work this takes. And yeah, he paid me $500 and he expected me to keep quiet and shut up. And looking back, that was very offensive. And I am shocked that somebody who runs an AI agency would think this is an appropriate amount. So yeah, basically TLDR, he doesn't want to pay me. I understand these kind of projects. They're around 12 to 14K worth of work. And we agreed to 25% in the beginning when we first called. So this was a call, so I don't have a recording of it, but we did agree to 25% for me. I agreed to having a price cut so we could work together long term. But unfortunately, that never happened, and that never will happen because this guy is a piece of shit. So here, 3.5K in total. So that's like a quarter of what this kind of project is worth. I just asked a reasonable amount. And honestly, like if I was doing this by myself, I would have charged a lot more, but yeah, I just agreed to a pay cut. So yeah, basically I requested 3.5K in total, just for the work that I've done so far, and now I'm impatient and I just said, I want this amount now, and if you don't, well, I'm not doing it. And yeah, look at this. I'm not losing money on a project that was meant to be a trial run. So now he's trying to gaslight me, just trying to tell me that this was just a trial run. So he's thinking of this like a free trial, basically. He's thinking of just using me as just a free trial, just for free work, and going against any terms that we previously agreed on. So yeah, he's never shown me any proof. He's just been saying things like this. I said, it's your fault that it was delayed and organized so poorly. And I'm telling the truth here. I said that because of this trouble that happened, you guys need to make up for it. And that my time and expertise is not free. It's not meant to be taken for granted. I've done all the work, but I'm willing to drop everything if I need to. I fail to understand. And the thing is, 3.5K, like, you're not going to be losing money on it. This kind of project, you're not going to charge 3.5K for it. And look at this. It does not matter how much money I make, I still pay for what it is worth. So he thinks 3.5K is not worth this level. And he thinks it's only worth $500, which is, again, very offensive and disrespectful and very ignorant about the nature of development. And meant to see how things will work is ridiculous. So again, gaslighting language. And a project of this caliber, so yeah, I gotta, give you some context. So it's different voice agents. So one is an internal chatbot to give you context, this is a mobile brake repair service. And what they wanted was an internal chatbot that they can use to calculate how much a job would be. So how much it would be to replace the brakes, like the brake pedals of a car. So they wanted a chatbot like that, and I did build one for them, and they seemed to like it. They wanted voice agents. So they wanted one to calculate the cost of it. So basically the chatbot, but like an external version that communicates with clients, and also one that acts as a receptionist and books calls. So yeah, calculating a quote, it's extremely difficult. It requires a lot of training data. It does require a lot of work and fine tuning. And I spent a lot of hours on this. But to say that 3.5K is ridiculous, that's extremely offensive. It shows that you know very little about tech and development and the value. And if you think this kind of work is only worth 500, then you are delusional. Not even third world developers from Upwork or Fiverr would accept 500 for this kind of role. So he was basically expecting me to work like a slave. That was basically his plan from the start. And now he's talking all this bullshit. So he says, I didn't know what the client was paying and it didn't feel important in the moment. But yeah, and he says, I'm willing to give you 50% of whatever I'm paid by the client. In that case, it would have been 6,000, but now I'm only asking 3,000 now just to close this off. I've also spent a lot of time on calls, giving input, troubleshooting, and coordinating, and my time is valuable too. Yeah, sure, of course it is. Like, I don't disrespect your time either. I appreciate the time and I appreciate you finding this work. But lying to me and saying that this kind of work is only worth $500 is extremely disrespectful. I simply want transparency and a fair compensation. That's all I asked. Like, I'm not asking for the entire 10. I just want some compensation, but he refused. And then fast forward to August, that software, it never came back to us. Basically, the project was abandoned, and this is what he was telling me. And yeah, I assumed that it was over. This is the guy. His name is Angelo Turi. And then this is his YouTube. This is TikTok. And there's Instagram. And this is the other guy, Zach. And this is his LinkedIn. And yeah, this is Zach. So this is the guy that connected me to Angelo. So they are business partners. And this guy is a piece of shit too. So let's read his message when I was a bit angry about not being paid for 3 months. So look at this. The project wasn't about profit. Okay, I don't have a problem with that. It was a trial run. You're bringing that up now just to, gaslight me and make me think that this is going to be a cheap project. And that's why it wasn't scoped out like a standard high-paying client job. That's an excuse. It doesn't matter if he's your friend or if you think it's a trial run. You still scope it out properly. That's called professionalism. And the fact that you don't do it, it's unprofessional. Like we said from the beginning, the goal was to build a relationship with the client who has one of the strongest networks we've seen. Yeah, that's fine. That's reasonable. Like, I understand like pricing it low just to build the relationship and not to make money off the job. And pricing, we're still figuring that out, but it's likely not as high as I'm expecting. You know what? That's fine. You'll receive the agreed upon 25% once it's finalized. So these aren't like not reasonable. But the fact is, he's trying to gaslight. He's trying to say that this was a trial run and that he thought this would be easy, so he didn't scope it out. That's highly unprofessional. And yeah, you can see the red flag here. So they're simply making excuses, and there's not even a single apology about why there was no payment. So yeah, let's go on to the next one. He said, we can charge them whatever we want. Oh, and also I forgot to show some messages from Angelo. So yeah, he said, it doesn't feel like the right fit for his business and needs. That's what the client said. So this was around October, November. I messaged Angelo on Instagram and I asked him, and I wanted him to confirm, is the project officially abandoned and if he's received any payment. And then, yeah, he sent me this. So it confirmed that he was lying. So this was after I met the client. So look at what he said. They haven't really used it at all. That's false. I've seen the records and they have used the chatbot pretty frequently and they liked it. I haven't received any payment related to this project. This is a lie as well, and I'm going to show you. This part will be censored because I want to protect the client's identity.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And in terms of moving forward, is this like another investment that we're gonna have to make on top of what we've already paid Angelo and all them, or is this all included just to get the project across the finish line?
Oh, wait. Did you guys pay Angelo something?
Yeah, I think we paid him about $12,000.
$12,000.
$12,000. Okay. That's different from what I heard though, because like what he told me, he had like no agreed price with you. It was just like a trial run, and he says like he would pay me upon completion, but then it got put on hold.
Got it. Okay, yeah,
we got to get them on the line because we paid them $12,000 and they're supposed to basically get us a finished product, but we hit this bump in the road where they couldn't get, the shopware to integrate. So they were supposed to find a workaround, but the agreement was that they were going to get us a finished product with that money. The original agreement was, once we paid them, that we were going to be done.
Right. Okay. Yeah, this is completely new to me. He told me that like he never discussed the price with you, and he told me that he just needs me to like complete it, and upon completion, I would get my share. And he
Uh-huh.
told me that you guys promised some like really good referrals. You know a lot of good people and all of that. So if you really paid him 12K and like this, and like from what he told me, it means that he's been lying to me.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely a
Right.
discrepancy in what's happened and what he's telling you. It seems like that might be just an effort to kind of keep more of the profits and not pay you what's due.
Right.
So sorry.
Um,
Yeah, so that's a little bit of an issue there because moving forward, obviously we'd like to get what we paid for, and obviously it seems like you're not getting paid for the work you've done. He had mentioned that he had brought on a couple other developers and that they were working around the clock and really trying to get things done. We were pretty impressed with kind of how quick they got things out, which is a testament to your hard work. But it seems like, yeah, he might have been pulling the wool over your eyes a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
definitely
listen.
paid it, and I'm looking up the receipts here, because they
Okay.
sent me an invoice, like a link to pay.
Yeah, it seems like an interesting misunderstanding. I'm sorry about this, brother. It seems, I feel bad for you in this case because it really feels
Because
like,
they collected from us, and then if they're not sharing in any of the wealth, I don't
Yeah,
know what
that's
not
they're trying to
like
pull.
work with.
did you guys even have like a contract or any kind of agreement?
I'm not sure if there was even a contract
Let me
signed.
see. I'm trying, like everything that they sent me, I'm trying to find it here. Stripe checkout. That's where we paid them. So that would have been, we would have made that payment
April
back in
16th.
April. And so we paid them a couple of payments over the course of the few months that we were dealing with them. And we made this payment back in April, so we are kind of expecting a functioning product by this point. But they weren't able to deliver everything that they had promised us. It was just a Stripe link.
I'm curious, did they pay you at all for any of your work, or was it all like upon completion, then you get paid?
It was like upon completion, get paid, and like they just said that like you're a good friend of theirs, and then like you trust them, and you guys are gonna pay like good money, and then you guys are gonna like refer like a lot of clients to them.
Okay, if this actually ends up working really well for our service business, then we could essentially go on a roll and see how we can integrate it into other service businesses.
We have other people that are asking me about how it's coming along, and I've had to tell them, well, not so great. I mean, if it
Mm.
was going good, I literally this week had somebody reach out to me asking me how it was coming along with the AI chat feature and the automated quotes, and I told them like not so great. If there's other people who are interested in the technology, but they don't know where to turn to get a finished product that's going to work, and help streamline their processes.
But yeah, like he did mention that you're like a really good friend, and that you guys like trust each other. He was talking as if like you guys knew each other for like a long time, but I guess it was just he was lying to me.
I'm sorry about that, John. Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, we did meet probably, I want to say maybe a year ago, maybe a little bit longer.
Okay.
Yeah, but
That's-
outside of just AI chat, we really didn't know each other at all. Hey, John, I'm a little curious. Did they do any of the AI development at all, or was it basically just offloaded onto you and a couple other
They
developers?
outsource it.
Mm, like okay, I'll be honest. They just uploaded everything to me, so I believe they're not even developers. But yeah, like designing the chatbot that you tried out, like I built it.
Right, and you're saying that how they kind of mapped out the whole project wasn't even adequate. You kind
Yeah,
of
exactly. They didn't even scope it out basically. They just basically thought everything would be smooth. We had no idea about like the NDA and how poorly the system was designed once I got access to it. And like Shopware, like they're not even like taking you seriously. They didn't even like organize it properly. And today I found out that they just straight up lied to me. And like they lied to you. Yeah, I think like they are full of shit. I don't think they should be like part of the equation at all.
right.
Yeah,
Well, it just seems like they're middlemen just trying to get their, when they
they don't have any skill whatsoever. They're trying to be a middle.
right, and when they quoted us on the project, you could I mean, I feel like they didn't quite know exactly. If it was a developer saying it, then they could stand on a position of saying, okay, in my professional experience, I think this would take this long and this many billable hours, and this is how much it should cost. Kind of just feels like they were utilizing your programming skills, hoping that you'd be able to make up the difference and create a good product, but not paying you adequately, and they get to pocket all the difference. And so regardless, moving forward, those aren't the type of people we like to work with. If we could cut out the middleman and get some sort of refund or anything and start doing development directly with you, that seems like it's in both of our best interests, because we don't even like to associate with those types of people. That, it would be one thing if you were getting paid for your time, but seeing as, did they even pay you a dime for what you did complete?
I did complain to them a little bit, like, yeah, what's going on? Like, why is nothing happening? Like, and all of that. And then he just paid me like $700 just to make me feel better and to show that they're not going to screw me over. But then, yeah, like the project never like went ahead after that.
And this was after you had already built the chatbot that we have running right now.
So you can see in the video just now that they paid $12,000 to Zach and Angelo, but they never got a finished product, and I was never paid anything except for that measly $500, which was very disrespectful. What they told me is that they tried to get back to Angelo, so I decided to reach out, and he finally responded after I confronted him about why he was lying to me. And he didn't even like acknowledge the fact that he took $12K, and he just, instead, what he did was he just defended himself. He just said that he had a good relationship with them, and that he tried to talk to them about like workarounds, but then they were just happy with what they have. Yeah, like he just said that he has good relationships with them. He didn't even acknowledge the fact that I asked him about $12K, why he was lying to me. He didn't even answer it. He just focused only on defending himself. A mutual friend between me and Zach. So I have a mutual friend, a good one. He messaged Zach, and so I told him about what happened, and then he messaged Zach, and he said, "Why is John so angry at you?" And what he told me really shocked me, because his reaction literally was, I don't know, like as if he genuinely doesn't know that like what he did was bad, and that like if anybody found out about it, they would be pretty angry. Like he seems to act like he doesn't feel bad at all about lying to me about being paid and refusing to pay anything. Yeah, their reactions really did shock me. It showed that they are a narcissistic, lying piece of shit with no conscience. They are incapable of feeling remorse or any shame or guilt. It really did close the coffin for me, and it made me realize that these people are scum, and that I need to bring this public. Like, they refuse to acknowledge the 12K. They focus only on defending themselves, and I proposed to meet with them and meet with the client, but they refused that. They just ignored me after trying to defend their positions. And I messaged them again saying, "Why did you lie to me?" And they just ignored it. And this is not something that I can just let slide, because 12K, it's a lot of money. They didn't pay me anything, and well, it's just shit, unethical human behavior, and I think that's extremely disgusting narcissistic behavior. So I have to make this public, so you know the red flags, you know what kind of people they are, and you know what, I'll even show you proof. So look at this. I'll show you that the payment was genuinely made. So this is a message between the client and with Zach. So yes, he paid the money. Yes, and he paid the money as well. So first one was in March, and the second one was in April. And then this is his bank statement. So here, if you zoom in, it says April 10th. And that was an amount of $4,000. So that was the first payment. And actually, you could even see something here on the 17th of April. So this was $4,500. So that's $8,500. So this was definitely one. And because this one is also the same name, I assume that this was also a payment that he made to Zach and Angelo. So let's just say $8,500. And then let's go on to the next screenshot. So this one was on the 10th of March, which is the same day that Zach sent the Stripe link March 10th, and that was for $3,800. So $8,500 plus $3,800. So that's like $12,300. That's how much he paid to Zach and Angelo. Yet they never delivered anything, and they just said to me that they tried to sort it out, but they were just happy with what they got. $12,300 for nothing delivered, and just claiming that they were happy with what they had and not paying me shit. Yeah, that is pretty shocking. So they just basically greedy, narcissistic people who are incapable of feeling guilt, shame, or remorse. And I absolutely despise those people. And when I see them, I want the world to know so nobody else falls victim to their unethical practices. And I showed you before, Angelo, I talked to him and he said, I haven't received any payment from the client related to this project. So that contradicts the evidence that I have shown in the Google Drive folder. And I am going to show you who they really are. So this is Angelo Turi. This is the one that I was talking to most of the time. And this is Zach Kirk. So yeah, they do have a few thousand followers on Instagram. They are posing as successful AI agency owners. Even if they're making money, they are not building shit. They do not understand what they're talking about. They're just basically grifting. And I cannot stand these kind of people. And you should look at the kind of like content that he posts. So look at this. He's just basically just showing off his money. So his watch, and if you zoom in here, that's a Lamborghini, but that's probably rented. You know what these kind of gurus are like. He just thinks of himself as like one of those Dubai or Miami gurus. And I'm not going to comment on his physical looks, but I hate to even look at him. It's disgusting. And look at this. POV, you manifested, but also put in the work. So yeah, he's just one of those very tacky people who like to brag about how much money they have. And well, you know what people think of people who brag about how much money they have and how unclassy and tacky that is. He's just acting like he's some successful, inspirational figure. Being a narcissist is what will get you rich at a young age. That's true because you are a narcissist. And then, yeah, let's just keep going. When she calls me a broke, lying, manipulative, gaslighting narcissist, but I ain't broke. That's really tacky. I mean, just like, yeah, think about it. Would you really take business advice from somebody as tacky and unclassy and as disgusting looking as him? He's disgusting, both on the outside and on the inside. I won't comment about his looks anymore, but yeah, he's a fucking despicable person. And let's look at Zach Kirk. So yeah, he seems more normal, but yeah, he does remind me of American Psycho, his soulless eyes. So yeah, he doesn't build anything. He just literally finds people, but doesn't pay developers shit. And I do know somebody else who has worked with him as a backend developer, and he told me that the pay is dog shit. Oh, look, 12K AI coding agents. So this is exactly what I built out, and he's acting like it's his. I don't know if it's the same one, but yeah, it's exactly the one involved in this case. And yeah, he's also disgusting to look at. Yeah, Zach Kirk. So that's his TikTok over here. Same story. Doesn't change the fact that he's a despicable piece of shit. Angelo Turi, so Vocal Chat, that is his company name. Yep, this is the company website, vocalchat.ai. And yeah, it looks like a legitimate website, and you know, I'm not going to criticize it. It is a good website, but yeah, again, I just want you to be aware so you do not work with these people and you know what kind of people they are. And this is also their YouTube channel. Yeah, he's only got a few videos. And then that's Angelo. Yeah, he's just, you know, like acting like one of those young Gen Z entrepreneurs who think, you know, they've made it, but, you know, they're not very transparent or honest about what they do. So yeah, just look at their links.
look at their YouTube, Instagram, TikTok IDs and make sure that you do not work with these kind of people, because they are indeed despicable and they're narcissistic, so they will suck the energy out of you. And I'm doing this so you don't have to deal with them. And like, just look at his eyes. Like, look how soulless he looks. Like, you can just tell that he is narcissistic. He has no conscience. Like, he's incapable of feeling guilt. Like, when you see him, does he look like somebody you would want to trust? And yeah, these guys, what they're doing now is they are promoting their coaching program. So apply to work with me one-on-one. This is what Angelo and Zach are promoting now. So in your AI journey, just getting started, and then you want to sell AI services. So yeah, even if they're teaching legitimate sales frameworks, they are dishonest people. I'm not going to stop you if you really want to work with them, if you choose to, but a question that you got to ask yourself is, do you really want to work with these kind of people? I'll let you answer that.
So the lesson is, do not work for free, ever. Even if you're a beginner, even if you have no experience, do not work for free. Because if you work for free, then there is simply no skin in the game. So if money is not involved, then you wouldn't want to work, because money is a motivator. It's not the only indicator, but it is a pretty damn strong motivator. So when you're promised $1,000 to complete a project, then it means that you will put that much effort into making the project work and getting the $1,000 that you desire. And if it's $10,000, you're going to put in more effort. If it's 100,000, a million, 10 million, you're going to put a lot more effort in. So the more money is involved, the harder you're going to work. Of course, there are some exceptions, like if you're going to sell drugs or if you're being asked to murder somebody, well, even if it's like $10 million, you're probably not going to do it because of moral and ethical reasons. And the same thing goes for the opposite person, so the business paying you. So if they don't put any money into it, then that means they're not invested into it. It simply means this is simply not worth my time, so like I'll just like let you do it for free, and maybe not I'll check it. Even if I don't check what happens later on, I'm not gonna really care. So they have no energy into it. So when money is involved, when they put a significant amount of money on this project, that means they'll be more invested into it. They'll be more likely to follow up and check what's going on, check the progress, ask questions. So that's what businesses will do when money is involved. And good clients, in my experience and also in other people's experience, when money is involved, businesses will be willing to pay large amounts of money to get the results that they desire. And cheap clients, so clients who do not want to pay a lot of money, who don't want to invest a lot of money, clients who expect you to work for free, they're just not invested into the project and they're probably going to abuse you. So I have rambled on quite a bit, but the point is, don't work for free, because neither you nor the business will be invested into it physically, mentally. So there has to be skin in the game and there has to be investment from both sides in order to make the project work and worth the time and energy. So if they're not willing to pay what it's worth, if they're not willing to pay anything, then it's not worth it. Then it's better to invest that time and money and energy into something that matters more, because when something really matters, you will find a way to pay. So if you're not willing to pay, then it's not really important to you. And if you don't pay your workers, that means you're a scumbag and also you don't value them. It's as simple as that. And by working for free, I mean not paying anything upfront. So if you're not paid to start, then it counts as free work for me. And that's something that you should never, ever do. But the point is, they should be paid upfront for a project, or they should be paid monthly. And if they are, then it means that they are valued. It means their work is appreciated and you appreciate them. So I know that this video went a little bit long, and I know that this was a lot to take in. So yeah, the TLDR for this video is, don't work for free. If you really value something, then you would be willing to put your money and your time and your energy into it. And if you refuse to put money down, then it's not really important to you. For example, like if your brother
was kidnapped and the kidnappers demanded ransom money, you would raise money for your brother unless you despise him. And if you choose not to pay, or if you don't put the time and energy into trying to save him, then it means that, yeah, your brother is not really valuable to you. Yeah, that's basically the lesson of this. And also, when choosing to work with people, there are red flags to look out for. So if they promise to have a lot of referrals, a lot of clients for you in exchange for no money upfront, then that's a red flag. If he says that the guy is a good friend, that's a red flag. Friendship, it shouldn't get in the way of professionalism, and saying that he's just a friend, that lowers your guard. So that is a red flag. Those are also things to watch out for narcissistic behavior. Refusing to acknowledge the situation, trying to make excuses, trying to justify your behavior, not valuing your time or expertise. Like, those are the big important lessons that I want to make clear in this video. And I also showed you the kind of warning signs, the red flags, so you watch out for them so you don't get into the same trap that I did. The purpose of this video was not to make public drama, but to show you the red flags and to expose them so nobody else suffers the same trouble that I did. And because I despise these kind of people, and I want to do everything that I can to prevent anyone else from dealing with these kind of people. Zach and Angelo, if you're watching this, I know you're a narcissistic piece of shits and that you're a net negative to the world, but you still have one chance to make this right. So if by some miracle you choose to make things right, you want to make amends, message me, then I want you to apologize for all that trouble. And I want you to pay me just what it's worth. Definitely not 500, but pay me a fair compensation. And then me and the client, we have one final thing to do. So I am working with them together to build a system. And yeah, that API key that you got for us, only you can do something about it. So you message me and the client, you sort it out for us, and then we go our separate ways. So they're the only things that you can do for me and the client now. So firstly, pay me a fair compensation and sort out the API key and access for us, and sort out one final request for us. And also, me and the client, we are working directly together now. We are on good terms, and I'm building a new system for them, and I'm going to have a good partnership with them. However, we do have one last request for you, and you just need to do that for us. And once you do that, we go our separate ways. We put this all behind us, we shake hands, and we go our separate ways. So they're the only two things that you can do to make this right. So first, pay me a fair compensation, and two, meet me and the client and do the one last request for us. So if by any chance you develop conscience, you feel guilty, and you want to make up for all the shit that you caused, then get in touch with me and we can sort something out. And I hope it goes that way, because I am sick of your shit. This is your chance to prove that you're not such a narcissistic piece of shit and that you are human in some way. That's it for this video. It wasn't an easy video to make. I was going to make a video about mistakes to avoid, and I was hesitating a lot about whether I should include this, but I had to, because the best way for people to learn is by seeing a real example, and I went through that. So yeah, that's why I did, and because I can't let people like Angelo and Zach get away with what they're doing. So yeah, that's it. And it's kind of inappropriate to ask this, but if you do want me to help you build a system like a price quote estimator, a voice agent, a chatbot, an AI automation system, whatever, if you want to work with me and you're willing to pay a good amount, then yeah, book a call with me down below. And Zach and Angelo, this is your chance to prove that you're not a piece of shit. But anyways, I really hope that I don't ever have to make a video like this ever again. But I promise you this, the next video will be a lot more positive. So yeah, thanks. thanks again for watching till the end, and I'll speak to you soon.